Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us to learn all about MNPS Pre-K. My name is Marichelle Bonifacio, and I'm the MNPS Early Learning Community Outreach Specialist. Joining us on today's call are Lori Fleming, MNPS Early Learning Program Coordinator, Amy Corbin, Exceptional Education Early Childhood Lead, Phyllis Phillips, MNPS Pre-K Program Director, and Lori Fleming and Holly Stone, Pre-K Professional Development Coordinator, who will be moderating our Q&A. Today, we'll be providing tips and information to support your child's transition from virtual to in-person learning. In the future, we will be hosting other topics as part of the All About MNPS Pre-K web series. We did ask families to submit questions prior to today's call, and we try to incorporate the frequently asked questions we received into today's presentation. If time permits, we will also answer questions submitted during this event. You can use the moderated Q&A feature located on the right-hand side of your screen to submit questions. Before we get started, we wanted to provide a quick overview on Microsoft Teams live event. That is the platform we're using for today's event. Remember to use the Q&A box to ask questions, and please note that questions are moderated and will not appear instantly. Only ask a question once, and also, if we have time, Q&A will be at the end of the presentation. Questions about in-person learning at school sites should be directed to your child's school site teacher, as well as the school principal. If your computer freezes during today's event, try exiting and re-entering. The Spanish and Arabic presentations of today's event will be available afterwards through the MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten YouTube channel. Today, we will be discussing creating healthy routines for your child's transition to in-person learning. Staying healthy. We will provide information and resources to help discuss hand washing and mask wearing with your child. Pre-K updates for families that are attending in-person learning. Family resources to support your pre-K learning experience. Then we'll have it at the end. If there's an opportunity, we'll answer questions from attendees if time permits.
Good afternoon, MNPS Pre-K families. I'm Lori Fleming, MNPS Early Learning Coordinator. I'll be providing information and tips to support your child's transition to pre-K. By creating healthy routines now, you're contributing greatly towards your child's success in pre-K. One thing that you can do now to support your child is to start talking about their transition to in-classroom learning. Start talking to your child positively about the transition. Let them know that they may be seeing their friends in person rather than seeing them on the screen. Talk about how exciting it'll be to go to a new school and that their pre-K teacher will be there to help them throughout the day. Check in with them and ask them questions like, how do you feel about going to school? It's a great opportunity to see how your child feels about school and help them if they feel anxious or scared. Drive by or walk by your child's school so they can become familiar with it and recognize the building. Ask them questions like, what do you think their classroom will look like? Talk about what their school day will look like. Let your child know that what they've been doing virtually, they will now be doing in person. A fun activity is to have your child draw pictures of what they think they will be doing in pre-K. Before school starts, discuss with your child who will be taking them to school and who will be picking them up so that they feel more secure and know what their routine will look like. Let your child know that you will not be able to walk them into the building on the first day, but teachers and school staff will be there to get them safely to their classroom. This way, your child is not surprised the first day you're dropping them off at school. There are some really great books for pre-K students about starting school. Although your child has been learning virtually, in-classroom learning will be a new environment for them, and reading books together can help prepare them. Below are a few book recommendations. Let's talk a little bit about creating healthy routines, morning and bedtime routines. We greatly appreciate our pre-K families creating schedules that work with their family during virtual learning. Now that your child is transitioning to in-classroom learning, It's a great time to readjust these morning and bedtime routines if needed. Creating a consistent morning and bedtime routine can really support your child's transition into the classroom. In the morning, have your child practice dressing themselves and tying shoes. By letting them try, you're encouraging them to develop their independence. To save time, you might want to go ahead and lay their clothes and shoes out the night before. I know that has always helped me as a parent. Use breakfast as a time to talk with your child. Have your child help set the table. They could count out bowls or for cereal or the utensils that they'll be using. Let your child open up cereal bags or help serve food into their plate. Have a conversation during breakfast to help develop your child's vocabulary and language skills. While brushing teeth, discuss all the things we do to stay healthy. Have your child squeeze toothpaste on their toothbrush and try to brush on their own. Talk about the plans that they'll be having for the day. This provides a great opportunity for your child to know what will happen throughout the day and what to expect. Plus, you can use words like first, second, and third, so they start learning about sequencing. At night, it is so important to have a consistent bedtime that can be used during the week and weekend. The CDC and the American Association of Pediatrics both recommend 10 to 13 hours of sleep, including naps, for children ages 3 to 5. When your child is getting ready for bed, provide them a choice between 2 pajamas. It's a great opportunity for them to decide for themselves and continue to develop their independence. Recap the day with your child. This provides an opportunity for your child to retell the day and what they experienced. We can't forget brushing teeth again and do the same routine you did in the morning. Take some time to unwind before bedtime by reading a book together. A recent study found that young children whose parents read them 5 books a day enter kindergarten having heard about 1.4 more million words than kids who were never read to at all. We encourage families to read at least 20 minutes a day. However, those 20 minutes can be dispersed throughout the whole day. Let's talk about creating healthy routines and I love you rituals. Before school starts, it's a great time to develop I love you rituals. I love you rituals is a term to describe activities you can do with your child to ease their transition to the classroom each day. We know that human connection creates neural connections in the brains. Our brains are shaped by our loving relationships. The health of a child's relationship with others is the vital link to academic success. These rituals can ease transitions and increase cooperation, which can help you when your child gets ready for school in the morning or during drop-off. These activities can be as simple as a phrase, have fun, learn something new, or I love you and will be back this afternoon. The purpose is to give your child a predictable indicator that it's time for you to go and for them to stay. Part of your ritual could be placing a picture of you or your family in your child's backpack. This will help them know that you are there with them and they can take a peek during the day. Share a scent. Use the same body spray or perfume on your wrist and your child's wrist. Throughout the day, when either of you miss each other, you can breathe in the scent. Read books together that help support a healthy separation, like The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. We also listed several other books below. Let your child know that you'll be back and when you will be back. Since most cannot tell time, find out the last activity for the day in their classroom and let them know who will pick them up. For example, I love you and I'll be back after your closing circle time to pick you up. The words aren't as important as the timing and consistency of your activity. Now let's talk a little bit about attendance. Attendance was important during virtual learning and will be important during in-person learning as well. Did you know that missing 2 school days a month means a child misses 10% of their school year? That equals to a significant number of missed learning opportunities for a student. Attendance matters in pre-K, and here are tips to help create a healthy attendance habit. Set a regular bedtime and morning routine. Lay out clothes and pack backpacks the night before. Talk to your child about the importance of attending school and get them excited about school. Schedule medical appointments and extended trips when school is not in session. Develop a backup plan for getting your child to and from school just in case something unexpected happens.
Good afternoon, MNPS Pre-K families. I'm Amy Corbin, Exceptional Education Early Childhood Lead. Today, I'll be sharing tips and information to stay healthy for your child as they transition to in-person learning. Marichelle, I do not see the slides.
Oh, it looks like Marichelle may have gotten kicked off. One moment. Let me see if I get our slideshow back up. If y'all hold tight for just one moment.
All right, thank you, Marichelle. Welcome back. So pre-K students will be washing their hands throughout the school day. Practicing at home helps prepare pre-K students for hand washing on their own. Here's some fun tips on hand washing. Practice 20-second songs for hand washing. There are a few songs on this slide like Itsy Bitsy Spider and the birthday song that your child might be familiar with. Your child can sing along as they wash their hands, and when they are done, they will know it's time to rinse their hands. Create a visual schedule for hand washing. Here's a sample hand washing chart that provides visuals on the hand washing steps. In the next few slides, I will provide the web link if you want to print it out and put it up on your bathroom wall for your child to follow. Include hand washing in your family schedule. Practice hand washing by always washing hands for meals, since they will be doing that in the classroom. Explain why hand washing is important. One fun way to discuss hand washing is to put a hand stamp on your child's hand to show them that by washing their hands, the hand stamp will start to go away, just like germs. It provides a visual example for your child. Here's a great story for your child about washing their hands. It's a fun story to read together, and we recommend reading this story a few times before the start of school. For some children, the idea of wearing a mask can be new, scary, or even exciting. So now is a good time to start discussing mask wearing with your child to get ready for school. For in-person learning, masks will be required for both adults and children, except during lunchtime and nap times. Masks will also not be required during playground time if social distancing is in place. Teachers will begin discussing the reason for masks and how this will look within the classroom with your child during virtual learning to help students transition to classrooms with students and adults in masks. Here are a few tips to engage your child to wear a mask. Read social stories and videos about masks with your child, such as the story Be a Masked Hero. In the resource slide that I will be showing in a few minutes, I will be sharing links to online stories and videos that you can use. When your child practices wearing a mask, model mask wearing for your child. Include other family members as well so they can see how comfortable everyone is in their mask. Customize your child's mask for comfort and style. As you customize, make sure that your child's mask is appropriately being used. Also, have a variety of masks your child likes. This can make mask wearing fun. Have your child practice wearing a mask throughout different activities. The following are some fun activity ideas to help your child become more comfortable with mask wearing. I'm going to pick a few. However, the presentation will be available after this call if you want to see the entire list again. Set a timer for time expectations for mask wearing. You can start out with 5 minutes or 1 minute and increase the practice time from there. When the timer goes off, reinforce your child with a high five, hug, or access to a favorite activity. Start with a time that your child will have success with. If your child has difficulty keeping a mask on for 5 minutes, don't set your timer for 10 minutes. Your child should always end successful when the timer goes off. If you have to start with 1 minute, that is okay. Have your child wear a mask during a favorite activity, like watching a favorite TV show. Increase familiarity and let your child remain in control with a mask by first starting off with baby dolls or stuffed animals wearing masks. Let them manipulate the mask on and off the doll. Make it fun with a game of putting the mask on silly parts of a teddy bear, saying, "Is this where the mask goes?" Are there textures of a mask bothering your child? Would they prefer a mask that ties in the back of their head instead of looping around their ears? Does it interfere with their glasses? Explore which styles are preferable for your child. Use positive language when seeing people in the community wearing masks. Like, "Look, he's a mask-wearing hero. He's trying to keep everyone safe." When children start in-person learning, they may want to greet their pre-K friends and teachers when they see them with a hug or a high five. However, here are some fun ways to practice no-touch greetings. Getting your child familiar with these greetings will help them when they see their pre-K friends. Have your child pick what greeting they want from a choice menu. These are some fun options, like giving a thumbs up or a superhero salute. Ask your child's pre-K teachers what greetings they will be using in the classroom, so you can practice those at home. Have your child practice no-touch greetings with family and friends before the start of school. Here are some resources that can help your family with explaining why and how young children can stay healthy. I included a link to the hand washing chart we reviewed. The National Center for Pyramid Model Innovations has some great stories you can read with your child about hand washing and wearing masks. They also have tip sheets. Since these can be exciting and sometimes stressful times for a child, they have information on calm down strategies for children. Their materials are available in English as well as Spanish. Here's a link to the no-touch greeting chart. Also, PBS Kids has great coronavirus resources for parents. They have articles, activities, and videos. They have hand washing nursery rhymes you can sing with your child.
Hello, pre-K families. I'm Phyllis Phillips, MNPS's Pre-K Program Director. We are excited that your family is participating in pre-K this year. I know that the start of the school year has been unconventional, and I want to thank you for sticking with us and being a part of pre-K in Metro Nashville Public Schools. I do want to provide a few updates on the pre-K program for those families transitioning to in-person learning. The MNPS Pre-K program is a voluntary program for all families. Families who meet the federal income poverty guidelines can enroll with no charge. Families who are over the federal income poverty guidelines can enroll with a tuition cost that is far less than other high-quality pre-K programs. Tuition is based on a sliding scale ranging from $0 to $144 per week. taking into consideration the number of people living in the household and the total annual income of the adults living in the household. During virtual learning, MNPS reduced fees by 25% for each family's fee. For families transitioning to in-person learning, their program fee may change. To view your in-person pre-K program fee, you can visit the pre-K program sliding scale located at https://www.mnps.org/early-childhood-education. Also, you are seeing on the slide an example of what the sliding scale looks like. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. We know that some families may be experiencing a change in income this year, and if a family is attending pre-K in-person learning and needs financial assistance with the program fee, or may need to continue the current payment that you are paying for virtual costs, they can apply for tuition assistance. Tuition assistance will offer a reduced tuition rate to qualifying families accepting a pre-K fee-based seat. Families currently experiencing hardship, family emergency, or trauma that meet the criteria will qualify to submit a pre-K tuition assistance application along with documentation. Applications along with documentation will be reviewed by leadership for consideration. Families needing to continue the current virtual payment while in person can email the departments at EarlyLearningPreK@MNPS.org to request continuing the same virtual payment. If you have questions on before and after care for pre-K students, you can visit the MNPS website for information on how to register for before and after care programs or contact your child's school. Please note that before and after care is a separate program and fees may apply. You can also visit the pre-K program guide on www.mmps.org to see which school sites offer before and after care programs. Please note that due to COVID-19, MNPS had to reduce the number of before and after care programs for pre-K students, which is not reflected in the guide. The reduction was to support a smaller grouping of children for social distancing and staffing. Hopefully, we will be able to add more sites as things get better. The current school sites with the before and after care program for pre-K students are Cambridge Early Learning Center, Casa Azafran Early Learning Center, Ivanetta Davis Early Learning Center, Ross Early Learning Center, J.E. Moss Elementary, Fall Hamilton Elementary, and Inglewood Elementary.
This is Marichelle Bonifacio again, and I'll be sharing resources to support our pre-K families. We currently have a website called Countdown to Kindergarten, which provides resources to support learning outside of the classroom. On this website, you can find our monthly K-Readiness activity calendar. We have learning at home lessons, which are based on reading books, and there's about 30 lessons you can do, and you can find the reading books online or on your local library. We also have tip sheets and activity guides. Also, MNPS Pre-K has a Facebook and Twitter page. You can follow us through our social media handle, which is at MNPS Pre-K. We encourage you to follow us since we do provide program updates, weekly tips, and resources throughout the year through social media. Additional family resources that we have are also the Welcome to Pre-K guide. The guide provides information about entering the MNPS Pre-K program and what to expect. Please note that the guide was written prior to COVID-19, so we do recommend following MNPS COVID-19 guidelines as you read this guide. The digital guide is available on the MNPS website at www.mmps.org/early-childhood-education. Also, we have the MNPS Monthly Kindergarten Readiness Newsletter. It's a digital newsletter that provides information and tips for pre-K families to prepare for their child for kindergarten. The newsletter is provided by your pre-K teacher. However, you can also access it through the MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten website. If you need additional resources, please connect with your child's teacher. Also, we just wanted to let you know, we provided a few book recommendations today during today's call. And actually, just a quick reminder, you can go through your local Nashville Public Library branch. Once you signed up for a free library card, you can check out digital books for free, as well as there are some library branches where you can reserve books and pick them up curbside. Also, some libraries have online story times that you can join throughout the week. You can also find some of the books that we discussed, the read alouds on YouTube. Just do a quick search on the YouTube for the book title.
Thank you to our speakers on today's call for sharing tips and information for families to support their transition to in-person learning. We greatly appreciate the families participating on today's call as well. Families, if you have any questions, here's contact information that you can use to assist you. We recommend that you visit the website below, since most of the information we share today is on that web page. You may also want to take a photo of this slide so you have the contact information. Now let's begin the Q&A portion of today's call. We received several questions prior to today's event that we want to share. Let's start with those, and then we will see if we have a few minutes for questions from attendees.
Here's one question we received. What time does the pre-K program start and end?
Great question. The pre-K program begins at 8:00 a.m. and ends at 2:00 p.m. This may vary per site depending on the amount of traffic and students entering and dismissing from the building. Some sites will stagger their start times and may not begin until 8:15 and end at 2:15. Please check with your child's school to verify your child's start and end time. When in-person learning begins on Tuesday, October 13th, students will have a half day on Tuesday, October 13th, and Wednesday, October 14th, and then a full day for the rest of the week.
Will pre-K students need to use a uniform and backpack? Will a list of school supplies be provided?
Students will be required to dress in standard school attire. A backpack is recommended, so students can carry their classroom folder and other items. Your child's school site can provide you with information on school supplies and school attire. The Student Support Services Department will collaborate with schools to support families who are experiencing hardships during this time and need assistance with standard school attire. Families can contact the Family Information Center directly with a request. Once a request is received, a team member will contact the family and provide needed supports.
Will we be filling out a form showing who can pick up our child? How will a pre-K student pick up and drop off work?
Okay, your child's school site will be providing you an emergency contact form so you can designate who can pick up your child. During arrival and dismissal, pre-K students will be signed in by a staff member and escorted to class. We are asking adults to remain in their cars during this time since visitors will not be allowed in the buildings. During dismissal, students will be escorted to the cars. Please contact your child's school for more details on the process at their school.
What happens if you choose virtual with hopes to stay with the same teacher? If the teacher is no longer virtual, is there a way to keep the child with her same teacher? Are we able to change our mind at all? We love our current teacher.
I know that's going to be hard. Students who remain in virtual learning or choose the in-person option will be taught by teachers at their school of enrollment. Students may be assigned a different teacher to match the students with teachers who are either in person or virtual. Each school site reviewed the number of students whose families opted for in-person or virtual and had to make decisions based on their in-person and virtual staff. Schools tried hard to keep their students with their current teacher, but in some cases had to change teachers in order to ensure all students could receive services. Decisions for virtual or in-person learning will be for the remainder of the school year so that resources can be properly allocated to ensure fewer interruptions in learning. Families will be provided an opportunity in December to change their decision for the second semester starting in January of 2021.
Would we be allowed to walk in our child with their supplies?
So to limit possible exposure and the number of visitors in the schools, the current practice is to not allow visitors in the building. A school staff member can assist your child during drop-off. This year is certainly different than previous years. All safety measures in place are the district's attempt to keep our students and staff as safe as we possibly can.
With the pre-K classrooms having rest time, what precautions are in place to help prevent the spread of germs? Children can cough in their sleep.
Yes, students will be laying on cots that will be arranged in a position we call head to toe. This is when one child's face will be closest to the next child's feet. Cots will be placed with distance set between each cot, and furniture barriers between students will be used as well. Children will be awakened by music, flashlights, or a gentle moving of their feet or back. Children will be taught to place their mask on their cots to be able to place them back on once they awake. Cots will be disinfected at the end of the day with a spray solution. Small sheets and blankets sent from home will be stored in each child's individual cubby and sent home weekly. Students will not be required to wear masks while sleeping so that teachers will be able to see when a child may appear in an uncommon distress.
Why is mealtime broken up only to feed a few students at a time? Why can't the pre-K students eat at the same time together if older kids are eating in the cafeteria?
As a precaution and limiting exposure, pre-K students will experience the least amount of transitions outside of the classroom and opportunities that may expose them to germs. Meal times are one of those times that pre-K students will be without a mask. Breaking the students up for meals will allow for social distancing and will keep the least amount of students around the children who are eating. Depending on the number of students in the class, each teacher will decide if the students can eat at the same time with the precautions in place, or if having a staggered mealtime schedule is the best way in order to ensure safety precautions are in place. So we have a few minutes for questions from attendees. Questions pertaining to fees will be answered individually. So we ask that you please email the Early Learning Department at the address you see on the screen. Questions pertaining to the school ventilation system, building, or grounds can be addressed by the Facility and Maintenance Department. Please contact the Family Information Center to connect with the Facility and Maintenance Department. So now, Lori, do we have a few questions we can answer since the entire early learning team is all here?
Yes, Phyllis, we do. Our first question is, will kids be able to wear face shields or face masks only?
So the district's directive is that children will be wearing masks. They can wear the face shield along with the mask, but the directive is that children will be wearing masks.
Okay, thank you. I also wanted to clarify, if your child is remaining virtual, there was a question regarding standard school attire. So as your child is coming to in-person learning, you can check with your child's school about standard school attire, but our virtual students will not have to wear standard school attire while they are remaining virtual. The next question, what's the school uniform?
And so that will depend on each particular school, but they're usually solid color khakis and a solid color button-down top. The colors vary per school site, so I would suggest participants and families enrolling in person check with their child's school of zone or school that they will be enrolled.
Okay, so we'll give participants a couple more minutes in case they want to ask additional questions. We don't have any in our queue right now.
Okay.
But now we have one. Does the school schedule depend on what school it is?
Yes. I talked earlier about a staggered start time, and those are typically at the school sites that are pretty large. They have created staggered times to cut back on the amount of traffic in their driveway and the amount of students going into the building at the same time. So it would depend on each individual school, but the majority of our school sites do open at 8 o'clock and they end again at 2 o'clock.
All right, our next question, are gator masks okay? I'm not sure what that is. I'm hoping someone in our department knows what a gator mask is.
Are those the ones that kind of come up your neck, like kind of the ones that you wear around your neck and kind of you can bring up?
And if so, then those would be acceptable. Anything that covers the nose and the mouth and allows the child to breathe freely.
All right. Will kids be playing outside?
Oh yes, it wouldn't be pre-K if we didn't have outside play. Kids will be playing outside.
Our next question, what time does pre-K dismiss on a half day?
Look, Lori, you know the answer to that.
That one? Yes, I do know the answer to that one. Half day dismissal for pre-K students is 11 a.m. All right, is this meeting being recorded to be viewed later? If so, how do I access it?
Yes, it's being recorded. We're going to put the recorded video on, or the recorded live event on the Countdown to Kindergarten YouTube channel. And also, if you follow us on Facebook, we'll be posting there as well.
All right, someone may have missed this answer. Will the kids have daily recess time outdoors? Yes, they will. Weather depending, of course, but we strive for our children to go outside. It's such an important part of their day for them to be able to exercise those large and small muscles. So yes, they will have daily time outside, weather permitting. How long is recess? Phyllis, do you want me to take that one?
Please, Lori.
Okay, so recess, the minimum would be 30 uninterrupted minutes of playtime outside. Some school sites are able to have it a little bit longer. It depends on the size of the school, as well as the number of pre-K classes and kindergarten classes, because sometimes pre-K and kindergarten classes use the playground at separate times. And so depending on the schedule, they may have a little bit longer, but every pre-K class would get at least 30 minutes of uninterrupted gross motor time outside. Next question, will kids be able to bring their own lunches to school?
Oh, sorry, Lori. Yes, students can bring their own lunches to school.
All right, how is pickup going to be set up?
So
pickup and drop off, I'm sorry, it's pickup and drop off.
Okay, so it's going to look different per school site. And so we are encouraging families to attend each school's open house and to reach out to their schools, because I think all of that is going to be explained at that event. And if that has already passed, then you can reach out to the individual school sites.
All right. Are masks with team or character logos acceptable?
So we haven't received any directive on which mask would if those types of masks will be acceptable or not appropriate. But so for now, we can say that as long as that there's not anything written or any character on the mask itself that would be insulting to anyone else, I think it would be acceptable.
Will the kids be able to utilize the playground equipment when outside?
Definitely. The playground equipment will be available for all our students.
Are they allowed breakfast and lunch, or do they need to have breakfast at home?
We will serve breakfast and lunch at each of our school sites, and I do believe breakfast and lunch will remain free to our families through December.
One thing to keep in mind, I'll add for breakfast, Phyllis, is to make sure that if you are planning on your students to eat breakfast, that they are at school on time so that they're able to get their breakfast in before instruction starts. And so we want to make sure they get a good, healthy start to their day. So if you are running late and may miss breakfast at school, please go ahead and make sure to give them something at home before coming to school if you're running late, so that they'll be able to learn on a full tummy.
So Lori, we have time for probably one more question, if we have one more.
We do. We got one more, and it is, are they allowed to wear jeans?
So because we are implementing standard school attire, jeans are probably not permitted. I probably should not have said probably. Jeans are not permitted. Thank you, Lori. We would appreciate your feedback and would like to hear about additional topics you would like for us to cover in future live events. To capture your suggestions, we ask that you please complete our event survey. If you think of any additional questions you would like for us to answer, you can include them in the survey with your contact information and we will get back to you. The survey can be accessed at the link you see on the screen. Today's call will be archived and can be accessed on the MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten YouTube channel. The website address is www.youtube.com/C/MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten. Thank you again for participating in today's event and being a part of the MNPS Pre-K program. We think we're going to have a wonderful year.